את יום השבת לקדשו, ששת ימים תעבוד, ועשית כל מלאכתך, ויום השביעי שבת לאדוני אלוהיך.
Shabbat Shalom, it's Rabbi David Barron with my 5-minute Torah talk. Before I begin, just a quick reminder, we have a beautiful Shabbat dinner scheduled on Friday night. If you haven't gotten your reservation in and missed it, we'll be holding other Shabbat dinners. This will be at the lovely home of one of our sustaining members, Daphne Ziman, in the backyard. Promises to be an excellent evening with a sumptuous Shabbat dinner and service conducted by myself, Cantor Alicia Pierce, and Chazan Nathan Lamb. So we hope you'll be with us. If not, we're going to record it so you can watch it at a later date and hopefully join us for upcoming Shabbat dinners. Also next week on the 20th, Dr. Rob Heisinger, an outstanding physician, is going to give a lecture on an interesting subject, age reversal, science fiction or factual science. That's the title of his talk. And he'll be presenting a lot of evidence that is really fascinating. So if you're able to, go to Brown Paper Tickets or call our temple office, 323-658-9100, to secure tickets for this event. And that actually ties into something related to our Torah portion of Balak this Shabbat. The story is Balak, the king of Moab, who pagan nation, summons a pagan prophet named Bilam to curse the children of Israel who are gathered about to enter into the promised land passing through Moab. And what's fascinating is that the prophet is controlled by God and unable to speak the curse and refuses to actually speak the curse. And later his words come out as a blessing. The famous words that open our tefillah, our prayer service, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. How goodly, how beautiful are thy tents, O Israel, thy dwelling places, O Jacob. And what's interesting about this wonderful quote is the word Mishkenotecha, your dwelling places, and that comes from the root of the Hebrew word Mishkan, which is a sacred space, a dedicated space. And we know the Mishkan referred to the ancient temple and the temple that the Israelites wandered with, but also we know that the home is called Mishkan Ma'at, a mini sanctuary. So what you create in your environment has a very powerful influence on the way you see life. So here this pagan prophet gets up and he's about to curse and he ends up blessing. How often does that happen in our lives? That we come in with a set intention, with a set perspective. Okay, I'm going into a meeting, I expect nothing but hostile people to confront me, and I end up learning about these people and finding out that a lot of their comments are based on fears, unrealistic fears, unknown expectations of what I'll bring to the meeting. And once we get in there, we come to recognize that the preconceived notions that we had restrict us, confine us to only seeing things one way. We know that the mind is the most powerful instrument that we possess. And when we create an intention and a perception, it is very powerful in defining what the experience will be like. So what we have to do is free ourselves from that perspective, because often we can come in intending to curse our lot in a situation and end up finding that there are jewels which make us bless that experience. How many of us have had that experience in our lifetime? We came in with a preconceived notion and we ended up being completely changed and turned around on how that happened. I know I've had that experience a number of times. Recently, when I attended an event, I expected it to be insignificant and meaningless and just going through the steps, and I ended up finding people and experiences that made it an enriching experience in my life. So don't allow your limited perspective on a given situation restrict an outcome. You want it to be a great outcome. And if you go in with an open mind, it might not always be a great outcome, but at least you won't limit your ability to experience the event. We can turn curses into blessings. And that's the power that we have, the power of the mind. You know, I mentioned this lecture next week by Dr. Heisinger, and age reversal, is it science fiction or factual science? A number of years ago, leading cardiologists believed that damage done to the human heart by a heart attack was perhaps stoppable, but definitely not reversible. And then 15 years later, we found out that not only could one stop damage from a heart attack, but that the damage to the heart could be reversed. So modern science, the leading physicians and cardiologists of the age had one perception and perspective, and then they were completely turned around. I've seen this happen in a number of cases. I know that a lot of people believe that the pyramids of ancient Egypt were the most ancient pyramid structures in the world. And then an excavation in southeastern Turkey in a place called Göbekli Tepe has proven beyond shadow of a doubt, conclusively, that there were older pyramid-type structures there that go back 11,000, 12,000 years. So don't allow a limited perspective of the established notion or idea limit you in the way you're able to see life and experience life. I think that's one of the powerful lessons of our Torah portion. I hope you take it to heart and that you have a Shabbat filled with blessing, enjoyment, rest, and peace. Shabbat Shalom.